today, is it winter? Yeah, it's winter. Okay. Today, I'm just gonna do some tests. I just need to do some tests. It's nothing serious. It's nothing to worry about. It's nothing to worry about at all. It's completely chill. But first, can I do you mind if I just get your hair out your face? Just so there's space for you for the tests, because I'm gonna show you one thing like this. I'm gonna show you one. Hey, watch my finger. I'm gonna show you one thing like this. And then I'm gonna show you a second thing. I'm gonna ask you, is it better with number one or number two? What's better with number two? What's better with number one? It's better with number one. It's better with number two. So, I can put your hair back. Awesome, thanks so much. Okay. I'm just gonna get out my hair clamps. So I'm just gonna, do you mind if I get, I'm just gonna get a bit closer and just clamp your hair. Just gonna have to clamp your hair on your face like that. Okay, clamp this way. Okay, just wanna make sure your hair's looking nice. Okay, so I'm just gonna clamp like that. Here, just clamp like that. Okay. Okay, nice. Your hair's looking good. So now we can do the test. We can do the test. So first of all, I want you to compare these two. Okay. So is it better with this one, number one? Is it better with number one, or number two? Shall I show you again? Okay. Is it better with number one, or number two? Number one or number two? Yeah. So number one, that's the blue pen. Or number two, the pink pen. Number one. Or number two. Okay, can you just watch the blue pen for me? Don't look at my nose. Just please just look at the blue pen. Don't look at my nose. Just look at the blue pen. Okay, now look at my nose. Ignore the blue pen. Okay, ignore the blue pen. Ignore it. Just look. Even if it crosses over my nose, I want you to ignore it and only look at my nose. Okay, now look at the blue pen again. Look at the blue pen. Ignore my nose. Ignore my face. Only look at the blue pen. Only look at the blue pen. Okay, great. Okay, so that was number one. Now at number two. It's easy with number one. Number one or number two? Okay, so what I want you to do is to look at my nose, and ignore the pink pen. Ignore it. Just stay looking at my nose, please. Stay looking at my nose. Ignore the pink pen, wherever it goes. Okay, now can you look at the plant? Yeah? Okay, look at the plant, but ignore the pink pen. Ignore the pink pen. Don't look at the pink pen. Wherever it is, I want you to just ignore it, please. Just ignore the blue pen. Sorry, the pink pen. Ignore the pink pen. Okay, now look at the pink pen. Please look at the pink pen for me, please. Look at it. Okay, now look at my nose. Now look at the pink pen. Now look at the plant. Now look at my nose. Now look at the pink pen. And ignore my face. Okay, so was that easier with number one? Were those tests easier? Was it easier with number one or number two? Was it easier with number one or number two? Number one or number same? Okay. Okay, so I'm going to do another one. I'm going to do another test. You did really well on that, by the way. By the way, you did really well on that. You did really well on that test. You aced that test. Okay. So now we're going to do some glasses. So is it better? Can you see better with number one? Number one? Is that better with number one or number two? Number one or number two? It's better with number one or number two? Shall I go again? Okay, this is number two. Number two or number one? Number two or number one? Is it better with number one, number one, number one, or number two? Number one or number two? Okay, number one. Yeah, so this is number one. It's the first one. Number one, number one, number one, number one. And then this is number two. Number two, number two, number two, number two, number two, number two. Number one. And this one is number two. Number two. This one is number two. And this one is number one. And number two. Number two. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I think that's right. Okay. Okay, so that's really good as well. You're doing so well. Okay. Next we're going to go these. So I want you to tell me which of these colours you prefer. Which of these colours do you prefer? So I'm going to show you two colours and I want you to tell me which one is your favourite colour. Okay. So here's number one. Yes, number one. Number one, nail colour. This nail colour. Do you like this nail colour? How do you think it goes? How do you think it will go on you? How do you think it will look on you? Think it will be nice on you? Think it will be nice on you? What about me? Think about me. Think it will suit me? Think it will suit me? My fingers, you think it will suit me? Think it's the right... Do you think it's the right colour for me? Colour? Do you think it matches? Do you think it matches my tone? My tone? My undertones? What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? What's your opinion? Hey, what's your opinion? Okay, okay, now number two. What do you think of this one? 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 Number two, number two. What do you think of number two? What do you think of number two? It's number two. Number one. Number one. Number two. Number one. Number two. Number one. And number two. Do you want a closer look? Okay. So this is number one. Number one. Number one. Number two. Number one. And number two. Hey, take a closer. Take a closer look. Hey, while you're here, why don't you take a closer look? This one is kind of sparkly, 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 sparkly. But this one is more kind of matte. 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 And this one, sparkly, sparkly. So number one. Number one. Number one. Number two. Number two. Number two. Number one. Spot the difference. Spot the difference. Spot the difference. Spot the difference. Can you name three differences for me between these two? Yeah? 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 Yeah, okay, nice. Okay, but this is number one. Just so you know, this is number one. So what do you think of number one? What do you think of number two? What do you think of number one? What do you think of number two? Number one. Number two. Number one. Number two. Okay. So which do you prefer? Which do you prefer? Okay, first, which do you prefer for me? Yeah, I like that one as well. I like that one as well. What about for you? Which do you prefer for you? Yeah, I think so as well. I think so as well. I think that's a really good choice. I think those are two really good choices. I think we're going to look really good. Really good, really good, really good, really good, really good. Okay. next. So, when you're eating, which do you prefer? Do you prefer number one? Do you like the flavours of this? Sriracha, number one, or would you prefer number two? Ketchup. Just originally called catsup, I think. Ketchup. So, number one, if you're going to pour it on, number one, or number two. Which do you prefer? Do you prefer number one? Bit of this? Sauce. Would you prefer this? Okay, so what about the sound? Do you prefer the sound of number one? You're gripping it. Do you prefer the sound of number one when you're tapping it? Number one. Let's just do gripping sounds. So for gripping sounds first, and then later do tapping sounds. So first, gripping sounds. Number one. Do you prefer number one? Number one, the sriracha. Do you prefer the sriracha? Do you prefer number one? Do you prefer number one? Or do you prefer number two? Number two. When it comes to gripping sounds. Do you prefer number one or number two? Number one or number two? Number one. Number two. Number one. Or number two. Yeah? Okay, so what about the tapping? Do you prefer this kind of tapping on the sriracha? For this kind of tapping, this kind of tapping, this kind of tapping, this kind of tapping, this kind of. Do you prefer this kind of tapping, this kind of tapping, this kind of tapping, this kind of tapping, this kind of tapping sound of the sriracha, sriracha. That's number one. Would you prefer number two? Or the kind of bassy sound. Okay, yeah, so when it comes to tapping sounds, which do you prefer? Hey, stop, wait, hey, focus on me. I need to make one. Hey, sorry, do you mind if I just make one adjustment? Because it's starting to get dark. It's starting to get dark outside. Do you mind if I make one adjustment? I think golden hour is ending and we're getting to sunset, so do you mind? Hey, one adjustment, is that okay? Yeah? Okay, 1 sec. Okay. That's a little bit better, hopefully that's a little bit better. I hope it's a little bit better. Is that better? I'm just gonna see if that's a little bit better. Okay. So when it comes to tapping, number one. Or number two. 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 Number two. Number one. Or number two. Neo. Matrix, path of Neo, path of Neo. So which do you prefer? Do you prefer the PlayStation 1? PlayStation 1? PlayStation 1? PlayStation 1? PlayStation 1? PlayStation 1? Prefer PlayStation 2? PlayStation 2? PlayStation 2? Do you prefer PlayStation 1? PlayStation 1? PlayStation 1? PlayStation 2? PlayStation 2? PlayStation 2? So number 1? Number 2? Number 1? Do you prefer number 2? Number 1? 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 Number 2? What's your opinion? What's the opinion? What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? Number 1? Number 1? Number 1? Or number 2? What do you prefer? Interesting choice. Very interesting choice. Very interesting choice. Very interesting choice. Okay, well, thank you for being part of the test. Let me just take those clamps off. Okay, yeah. Take this one off. Now just take this one off. Okay, put them down.